been thinking about confirmation. Well, kind of thinking about confirmation bias, because I think one of the things that is pretty well established and what people talk about quite a lot is this idea that people, a tendency we all have, to try to confirm our feelings by being selective about what kinds of facts we produce. You know, we tend to produce facts which support the subjective feelings that we might have. Confirmation bias. We tend to, as I say, to find those theories, those scientific ideas, those proven bits of evidence, or even circumstantial bits of evidence, which support us and confirm us in our pre-existing beliefs, don't we? I think that's pretty well established. In fact, we might even deny that we have any kinds of feelings about a particular topic. We might deny that we have an opinion or a belief. We might say we're just trying to state the facts, because that makes our claim a bit more empirically credible, we think. Objectively credible, you might say. We tend to do that. Confirmation bias, that's pretty well established. But I do wonder sometimes if there isn't a kind of opposite thing that goes on. That sometimes we try to use feelings, use an emotional response to confirm, or to give a confirmation for something that's actually arrived at through much more rational means, through much more cold-blooded, objective kinds of evaluations. I've been trying to think of an example, but there's a TV show that used to be here in the UK. I don't know if it's been more widely syndicated, called The Alan Partridge Show, which is really great. It was a kind of sitcom, but a kind of broken, slightly odd, damaged sitcom about this guy Alan Partridge, who was a failed media personality who's had a TV show, but his TV show wasn't recently renewed by the company, so he ended up on local radio, and he's a big failure really, but he's got a terrible ego, and he's, you know, all kinds of character defects. It's beautiful in a horrible kind of cringy way. But there's one episode in it where he tries to get his TV show recommissioned, you know, get a second series, and it isn't recommissioned. The channel doesn't pick it up for a second run, so he has to go back and talk to his production company, the people he's employed to make these shows. He has to go back and tell them that they're no longer in work. He has to fire them. Now that's a completely irrational thing to do. You know, he should be able to just walk in there and say, look, the series wasn't renewed, we haven't got any money, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to let you go. It makes perfect sense. It's not very nice, but it's rational. But he doesn't do that. He can't bring himself to do that because it feels too cold-blooded to him, I think. It feels too inhuman. So instead he kind of just invents stupid emotional reasons to let people go. Like one guy just leaves a coffee cup in the wrong place, and so Alan Partridge just throws a wobbler about this coffee cup. Oh, it's disgusting, this coffee cup being here, you're sacked. Like, it has to be an emotional response. It isn't enough that it's rational, it has to be emotional. I think one of the places that, I don't actually know if this ever happens, but it's something I've been thinking about recently, where that kind of reverse confirmation bias takes place, is in relationships. Because sometimes if you're in a relationship with someone, I think, I'm not speaking from personal experience here, but sometimes if you're in a relationship with someone, you think at some point, actually, you know what, this is not a good relationship. You know, you just kind of rationally think that. You think, I know kind of things I want in a relationship, and I'm not getting those things. I know what that person wants, and they don't seem to be getting what they want either. It's causing these kinds of problems. So there's all kinds of rational reasons, perfectly respectable reasons, why that relationship should probably end or be changed into a different kind of relationship or something. That's a really hard conversation to have, I think. We don't like that kind of conversation. It's too cold-blooded, it's too objective, it's too distant, it's too detached or unattached or something. So I think what we tend to do in those situations is we try to look, just like Alan Partridge, we try to look for coffee cups that are put in the wrong place. We try to look for this kind of inverse confirmation bias. We try to look for the feelings which would propel that. So we try to find something to hate, or we try to find something we dislike about them, We try to find a point of emotional contention that can really lead to a breakdown. So we can say, oh yeah, the reason why we parted is because we just couldn't stand each other any longer. You know what I mean? You push to that point. But it might not be anything to do with that at all. It might just be, actually, you know what? This just isn't really working, and maybe we should just like stop, or I really like you, but I'm not getting what I want, or there's some variation of that anyway. But that seems to be very hard to do. That has to be a drama. Has to be a drama. Yeah, anyway. So what do you think? Inverse confirmation bias? Does it exist?